I'm upset. No disrespect, respectfully. But disrespectfully, it's disrespect. Don't be disrespectful. Those vile, disgusting Spartans. Poor little bro, them. And I'ma tell them where I'm at. That vile, disgusting cesspool in Columbus. The other state, and of course, as always, I'm upset. Good evening, good people. It is I, the Maze Madman. I am here with my guy,
the Maniac,
and of course,
Kinetic.
Yes, sir. Hey, today we got to before we move on. Shout out to my guy Lich Max who's in the chat. Shout out to Lee in the chat. Marmar, I saw Marmar in the chat. My guy Ronald Embry, of course, Kiyoki Kayapana.
Yes,
in the chat. We love to see it. But back to my guy Lich Max, who provided us with a dope intro video. I'm gonna do some finishing touches on it, and then we're gonna present it to the people. We got something new for y'all coming, specifically for the Mondays. So absolutely get ready for that. Next Monday we'll have that up. No doubt about it.
And Lich Max does a lot behind the scenes for Madman, for myself, for a lot of people. So give respect to Lich Max. He does a lot. He does a lot.
He working behind the scenes, man. Shout to him.
Facts. That Discord that y'all have joined or haven't joined, thank Lich Max and Kinetic for that. Doing the ground, the heavy lifting on that. So make sure you join that Discord. We got to get back to promoting the Discord, by the way, fellas. But anyway, we got a dope show lined up today, man. We got a special guest, formerly of Buckeye Boyz, now the Ohio podcast, I believe. Just a good dude generally. I have had conversations with him. We've had some back and forths. It's the rivalry. You know how it is. You know how it gets. But at the end of the day, it's always been respectful. My guy, OSU fan, get ready. He is a fan of that vile, disgusting cesspool in Columbus. But Shaun Shrock, ladies and gentlemen, Shrock, what's good, man?
What's going on, guys?
Hey, where you at?
Hey, man.
Shrock, we can hear you, but we can't see you.
What? You can't see him?
I can see him.
I can't.
Kinetic,
I just see him.
I see him backstage, but on the YouTube feed, it's
a black screen.
What?
Yeah,
ask the people in the chat.
I've got it up.
Can y'all see
StreamYard and YouTube up, and on one he's there, and the other he's not.
That's
I mean, I can hear him clearly. Backstage, I saw him clearly, but now I can't.
We might have to redo the intro.
I've never seen that happen.
Oh, you're right. It is a black screen there. I don't know what's going on there. All right, let's try this again, Shrock. We're gonna drop you, bring you back.
All
right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Special guest tonight, Shaun Shrock, OSU fan. One more time.
What up, guys?
Wait,
we got it. What is happening?
Oh, come on. Who's sabotaging this?
What about now? Nothing.
No, still same issue. Like I can see him on the StreamYard feed, but not on the YouTube feed.
You see Shrock now.
It's the YouTube feed. And
can you see Shrock?
Yes, I see him now.
All right.
Yeah, I see him.
Always see a Shrock now. All right, hold on.
Yeah, so on the YouTube feed, when you put him full screen, it shows him
now.
There we go.
He's there.
Shrock.
So,
there he goes.
So that's a StreamYard issue.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, OSU fan, Shrock, how you doing, man?
I promise we're professionals, Shaun. Sorry.
Oh,
absolutely,
no problem, man. That's all good.
Absolutely.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I know
no doubt.
You guys wanted some people to step up and come on over. So
yeah, man, you're the first member, or the first guest, shall I say, of the new Opposition Monday, right? Where we bring on a fan of an opposing team. It doesn't necessarily have to be the Buckeyes, but we're going to call this Opposition Mondays, where we bring on a fan of the opposing team and we talk about their position, right? Whatever team that is, not just in regards to Michigan, but their position, college football as a whole. But Shrock, let's get into a little bit of your background. Tell us about growing up, how you became a Buckeye fan and all of that.
I became a Buckeye fan. Well, I'm a diehard Cleveland fan, sports fan. My mom actually, Earl Bruce was my mom's teacher, and also my uncle's football coach. So
you had no choice to be a Buckeye fan.
Well, my first memories, honestly, is being a little kid and watching him get carried off the field and my mom crying and her being upset with OSU for firing him. So that was my first real memories of, being an OSU fan. My first memories of really watching OSU football. Then the second memory that's burned in my brain, which is like a nightmare, is watching Desmond Howard take that punt to the big the Heisman pose. And oh man, yeah.
Right. So, no doubt. Hey, look, man, you brought your fans. The Buckeyes came in for. Shout out to all the Buckeyes in the chat. My guy Mello in the chat. I see you, Mello. Lunatic Fringe is here. There's Lacey is here. Ohio 7715 is here. Shout out to them. Of course, my guy Mike Layton. Special shout out every time. And make sure y'all show Mike Layton some love. We appreciate you, Mike. Shout out to Mike. But yeah, so did you grow up in the Columbus area, Shrock? Or
I actually live in Northwest Ohio. I live in a small town called Marblehead. Okay. I'm right in between Fremont and Sandusky, right on Lake Erie. Yeah. So Fremont, where Charles Woodson grew up, and Sandusky, where Orlando Pace grew up. So I'm actually 45 minutes from Toledo to the border.
Okay. No doubt, man. Me being in Ohio and myself, now granted I'm from Southwest Ohio. Gotcha. Different theme parks. I'm about 40 minutes from Cincinnati and Dayton, but either way, great theme parks in Kings Island and Cedar Point. Of course, Cedar Point was like the roller coaster capital of the world for a while.
Yeah, I'm like 20 minutes from there, so yeah.
Yeah, had some good times at Cedar Point. Okay. We got all the introductions out the way. All right. You being a part, you have joined this space, right? This YouTube kind of creator space. Yeah. I first saw you on, actually I might have first saw you in the comment section, but I then saw you on Buckeye Boyz. Shout out to my guy Mello, who's in here, Mello Dev. They do a great job over there. And that's where I first saw you on screen. I know me and my guy Maniac were invited over there. We may never be invited back again, especially as a duo, to do the pregame for the game. We both, of course, picked Michigan, I believe, to win that game.
I didn't. I'm not going to side.
See, all right.
I didn't. I'll be honest.
I knew better. I knew Michigan. No, I'll be honest with you too. I was not confident that day or that week, but Michigan pulled it out. What'd you think? Let's start there, right? 2024, Michigan coming to the shoe. Already a 5-loss team at that point. And of course, the Buckeyes only lost to the Ducks to that point. What were your thoughts going into that one?
I thought they were going to win. I thought this was going to be payback time, honestly. And I actually went to the game. I spent $500 on a ticket, froze my butt off, and I tell you what, that was the most. I tell you what, guys, I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, and I was a season ticket holder for 23 years. So I made a lot of walk of shames to the car after a lot of bad football games, bro. But, man, I've only been to a few Buckeye games. The last one I went to was actually the Ohio State-Michigan game back in 2004. So it's been 20 years since I've been to a game. So I was all pumped up. I thought, man, they're going to get some revenge. And I tell you what, that just did not go our way. I mean, the game plan, the scheme, it was terrible. And hats off to you guys. You guys won it, man. I mean,
so respect.
So two questions there then. When you were there in person for that game, at what point? I mean, we know y'all went into the game as fans very confident, confidence at an all-time high. with the state of both teams going into that game. At what point did you start to worry, and at what point did you have that like sinking feeling? We've all had it with our team. So when did that turn happen?
When Will Howard got banged up, because when he came back, he wasn't looking. I mean, he did not look good, and I was scared to death of them putting Devin Brown in, to be honest, because I had no faith in Devin Brown, even though they probably should have played him instead of Will. But I mean, honestly, I knew if they let them hang around, all it was going to take is one play, one bounce of the ball to go a certain way, and that run broke their back, and and the stupid kicker missing two makeable field goals. I mean, the second one, I didn't even watch it. I just put my head down to listen to what the crowd did because I couldn't watch it, and I couldn't believe he missed it, and I was just in disbelief.
Yeah. Before you go, Maniac, field goal kicking has kind of been the bane of Ohio State existence over the last few years, man. If you guys get a couple field goals to go your way, you may be in a completely different, position. Obviously, you won the national championship last year, so hats off to that. It doesn't get better than that, I suppose. But definitely, the thing with Georgia, obviously Michigan, things could have been a little different. But go ahead, Maniac.
Yeah, no, it's first. It's funny you even mentioned the 04 game, Shrock. I actually was just on YouTube before I did my little workout. I was on YouTube watching that game. And that was a game that these guys were freshmen, Chad Henne and Mike Hart. And that was one of the very few seasons where you guys had more than 3 losses. We were 9-1 going into that game. You guys beat us. We still went to the Rose Bowl. We played Texas in a game that Vince Young, he torched us. But anyway, so now just like May and Kinetic was saying, right, that game happens, right? You lose to your rival, a game that, listen, I'm not gonna lie, I was live on Devin Mello show saying, I didn't pick us to get smoked, but I said I just don't see us winning. But you guys, y'all get back to the drawing board, right? Yeah, the Tennessee game, kind of a makeshift O-line. Walk us through that as a Ohio State fan. What was it going into that Tennessee game? How confident were you? How confident were you in your O-line? Going into that Tennessee game.
Honestly, I thought they were kind of crazy because they were rotating their offensive linemen. That's something you never see people doing because, I mean, if there's one position that you shouldn't rotate, because, the offensive line 5 guys need to have the perfect chemistry. And they were bringing these guys in, and I did not think it was going to work. But I did think, if we can give Will Howard time, our receivers can get open, and we can torch them. And honestly, after about the first quarter, I was, a little skeptical to see what that line was going to do. But, I mean, they stepped up. I mean, they brought guys in like Luke Montgomery, who played his butt off, and it just made me wonder why some of those guys weren't playing earlier. So,
no doubt. Luke Montgomery is a kid that I know we wanted too. He and his brother, the quarterback, Ryan, who went to Georgia, I believe, right?
Yep.
I think I was wondering out loud even on Twitter why Luke Montgomery hadn't seen the field, before he did. Anyway, but really quick, let me get these out the way. My guy, Blue Wolverine, shout out to B-Dub, is a member now for 5 months. Marmarsky, I saw he just became a member as well.
Blue Wolverine.
Dev with the $10 super chat says, "Go Buckeyes." I can't read this next part. Y'all are invited back for our 6-hour live stream this year as well. We appreciate it, Dev. So
can we get some love for Blue Wolverine in the chat? He is in every Michigan podcast. He's in every Ohio State podcast. He's a member of every channel on both sides of the rivalry. He shows support to everybody. So can we get from the Michigan fans and the Ohio State fans in the chat right now? Show some love to Blue Wolverine, guys.
Absolutely. No doubt. Mad that Tennessee turned up at our house. Mad
Yeah,
that
yeah, they came out. So
Oh, they
you got
did. Yeah.
yeah.
What was it?
So
10,000 seats or something like that. But go ahead.
yeah. So y'all go ahead, y'all dominate Tennessee. I mean, y'all punched them in the mouth. It was never really a game, let's be honest.
Yep.
After that game, how was your confidence moving forward in the playoffs? Did you feel like, okay, I think we could win it all, or you was still skeptical about your team?
After the Tennessee game, I was pretty confident, honestly. I said if they were going to lose a game, it was going to be the Tennessee game because I honestly didn't know how they were going to bounce back. Nobody did. I mean, being a 20-year-old, 23-year-old kid, and you lose a game, you shouldn't lose like that. Only two things are going to happen. Either it was going to make them even closer, and they were going to bond together and they were going to fight like heck, or they were going to fold. So I was on the edge of my seat for that first half to see what they were going to do. And when they rolled Tennessee like that, I knew that they wanted Oregon pretty bad because they had revenge on their mind. So I felt pretty good about it.
No doubt.
Yeah. That was the only game I actually picked you guys to lose. I just felt kind of the same way. We didn't really know. I said, yeah, Tennessee has a good D line, but that was never a game. After that game, I'm like, damn it. They might just have this run. And it happened to be. Then y'all faced Oregon and the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl, the beautiful Rose Bowl. And
Second best stadium in the country.
oh man, you're talking about an ass whooping. That was an ass whooping. What was your thoughts on that game?
I thought they were going to win, but I didn't think they were going to beat them down like that, honestly. I thought it was probably going to be maybe a 2-touchdown win. And, I was pretty confident that they were going to get the revenge because that first game they should have won. And there was a couple of things, whether it be a fumble by Juckins or, bad clock management. I mean, there was just a few things I'm like, man, we let one slip away there. And I think they weren't going to let it happen again. So
No doubt.
So from an OSU fan's perspective, break this down for me. The loss to Oregon and then the bounce back to adapt, change the game plan to then to beat them like y'all did in the playoffs. What is different from that Ryan Day can't seem to do the same thing with Michigan? Like it's like he loses to a team and he adapts and he's able to adjust with every other team. And it was easy to see as a comparable point with Oregon this year because it was in the same season, right? You lost to them and then you beat them. What is the difference with Michigan that he can't seem to make that change? Even though on paper you guys have talent that leads to everybody, well, not everybody, but people from both sides picking Ohio State every year, and he just doesn't seem to be able to make the same adjustments that he does with every other team.
This year, I think it got into his head because he wanted to, he kept hearing, well, you guys are so soft. I think he tried to out Michigan, and you weren't going to do that. I mean, Texas kind of gave everybody the game plan on how to beat Michigan by, you got two stud tackles in there that are big guys. Get them running side to side. Don't run right at them. Right. Wear them out, Make them rotate their guys in there. Then you run at them. I mean, that's what Texas did, you guys. They wore Grant and, Graham out. Then they ran at the backups. And that's, what I thought they should have done. But I was like, the screen pass worked for them one time and they never went back to it. After that game, they changed that running scheme. They threw that scheme right out the window and you never saw it again. So I don't know if Ryan Day just wanted to prove how tough they were. And we're going to beat Michigan the way Michigan beat us last year. And it got in his head, but that's the only thing I could think of because that game plan was terrible.
So then add on to that, for him to change that around this next season, what does he need to do differently that he hasn't done the past 4 seasons?
I think since he won that run he went on, I finally got the monkey off his back. Now I think he's comfortable in his skin being, you know what? I'm happy throwing the ball. If I got to throw the ball 50 times to beat somebody, I'll do it. It's no more, we got to prove how tough we are. We just need to win the game. I mean, I think finally, he got the monkey off his back, and I think he seems a lot more relaxed now. Even everybody says it. The pressure's off of him now that he won the national championship. I think he's going to play coach a lot more freely than what he did before.
No doubt. Yeah, just to reply to somebody in there, I am Madman. That is the maniac. He is from New York. He is from the Bronx. I am from a little city in Ohio called Dayton.
Dayton.
Great place.
You know what's hilarious?
Great vacation place.
Every time you say I'm from Dayton, everybody has that response. Whether they're from Ohio or Michigan, they're like, "Ooh, Dayton." Every single person.
Great vacation place. Take the family.
My sister lived in Cincinnati for like 10 years, so I've been by Dayton plenty of times. So
right. Yeah, it's a ride. It's a drive-through. Yeah, drive-through there. Keep going. But shout out to Dayton. Anyway. Let's talk about the prospects at the beginning of last year, because I do feel like we started at the end. But going into the season last year, you got this. I know you heard about it on Twitter. Michigan fans were part of it, saying you got this $20 million roster, blah 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 blah, which ends up not even being the most expensive roster in college football a season ago. But anyway. You keep hearing about it. What are the thoughts? And not just on the money. I'm talking about the actual roster, though, because it was a very good roster on paper, and obviously good enough to win the national championship. So going into this season last year, what were your thoughts?
I thought we were the favorite to win it, but I also, was thinking if they don't win it, I don't think Ryan Day might not survive the season. I mean, honestly, I was kind of worried. I mean, we all had that kind of, we thought we had the best team. We were confident to a certain point, but until someone actually does it, I mean, there's still going to be that little bit of doubt that creeps in your mind until they prove that they can do it. And, God bless him, he did it. So.
No doubt. To answer the bull, the Dayton is nowhere near Sandusky, actually.
No.
Dayton is near Cincinnati. When I said 40 minutes away from the theme park, that was Kings Island. It's about 30, 45 minutes away from there. It's a little more than 45 minutes west of Columbus, maybe about an hour 15, hour 10. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So, Shrock, we know, obviously you guys are the national champions, unfortunately, right, as a Michigan fan. But the season it'll be upon us like this, right? You guys just had 14 players drafted. Congratulations. That's a lot of players. So, and not only the players they got drafted, a lot of that was veteran. A lot of veterans in those 14. You lose a lot. Now we get it. OSU, you don't lack talent. You're not lacking talent, but the experience, right? Experience matters. So talk to me going into the season. You lose a lot. You're bringing in a first-year OC. Yes, he's been in the program for a long time. Some people say he was part of, the package or, preparing the game plan for the playoffs. I don't know. I'm not really deep into the Ohio State stuff like that. But regardless, he's going to be the full-time play caller for the first time. That's Brian Hartline. And you're bringing in a DC, right? Now, Matt Patricia, regardless what he did in the NFL, he's in college now. That doesn't matter. Of course, we're going to troll and say things, but it's still the first time. You saw it with Wink, right? Wink eventually got it. What are you expecting this year? You got a first-time quarterback starting, right? You don't lack talent, but do you see a similar season for you guys? Do you think you guys can repeat, or what are you expecting?
I think it's going to depend on a couple of things. I think we do have a shot to repeat, but here's the thing with Brian Hartline. One thing that Ryan Day did that was really smart of him is he brought Tyler Boland and as the offensive line coach, who was also an offensive coordinator, and you got Ryan Day there to help him. And they brought in a couple extra offensive line coaches who have been around the block for a long time. So, I mean, if Tyler Bowen needs a help Brian Hartline more, calling plays. They get the offensive line covered. So I mean, he's kind of got a fail safe there. I think our offensive line is going to be the strength, then the receivers, but I think our offensive line, we're pretty deep there. I think we got really good depth for the first time in a long time because a lot of those guys played. They developed really good. One thing about Justin Fry is people gave him a hard time recruiting, but he did an awesome job developing. So, and we got a couple guys from the portal, a couple big time tackles. So I think they'll be able to run the ball. I think the defense can be in trouble this year if there's any injuries to the defensive line, because that's what scares me is we don't have the depth on the defensive line. Our secondary has got a lot of depth. Our linebackers are really athletic and fly around. And what we've been hearing from about Patricia is he is actually, he's not one of those guys that's going to say, you're going to run my system no matter what. He tailors to what the talent says, the talent is. So he'll adjust to it. I think the defense is going to be pretty good. I mean, some people think it might be better than last year's, but until that happens, show me. That's a pretty big step to take. But I think if Saint can come around, which I think he's been looking pretty good, but still his first year, I think they could go, I'm saying 10-2, 11-1.
Is that your floor, your ceiling, or what you think is the likeliest outcome?
I think I mean, honestly, they could go undefeated, but that would take a lot. I mean, to be serious, to be honest, because we don't know how they're going to, respond when they go against Texas. We don't. Right. I mean, how's Julian Saint he's going to be right under the bright lights for the first time starting. I mean, like you say, Brian Hartline's first time calling plays. I'm not worried about the defense, but I think they could pull off an undefeated season if they beat Texas. But honestly, I think the floor is 2 losses, the ceiling's undefeated, but I'm somewhere in between 11, winning 11 games, 10 games.
No doubt. I think if you guys, that first game is going to tell us a lot, right?
Sure.
Tell everybody a lot. If they do win that game, then I think there are going to be a lot of people, with wide eyes, and paying attention. Not that they don't pay attention to what goes on in Columbus anyway, but it's definitely going to be a big deal. They pull that game off week 1 with Sand going in there. Not mad.
I'd say the one game that's really tricky for them this year, though, that not too many people are talking about, is they go to Illinois this year. And Illinois is well coached, and they got a lot of veteran pieces, and they always play tough. I mean, Bielema might be, people might not like him, but he always has a tough football team, and they're at home, and they got a veteran quarterback, and they're returning a lot of people, so that's going to be a tricky game. I mean, if they dropped it, would I be surprised? No, honestly, with what they're bringing back, but I think we can win it.
This is a good question from my guy Dom, the Dom father. He says, what does Shrock think about playing Penn State? Knows they're now still going to stuff Franklin in the locker.
Well, did you guys see what happened at the spring game with Franklin and fighting with the fan again?
No.
Yeah, I saw.
Oh, yeah, he got into it with the fans again. Oh, yeah.
Well, they fed up. I don't blame them. If I was a Penn State fan, I'll be pissed. You're constantly they another team that, with the exception of, I think, obviously Ohio State recruits on an elite level. That's not a question. Then Michigan and Penn State is pretty much neck and neck on how they recruit. No one is above each other. But as you can see, Penn State, the results, especially Ohio State, right? You guys been the cream of the crop of the Big Ten for a while. And that's the truth. So y'all been the standard. Now Michigan has kind of say, whoa, we kind of taking that mantle back. The problem is we had an 8-5 season. Unfortunately, I think it'll get better. But do you think? I think, to me, again, you tell me, this might be Franklin's best year to get it done against Ohio State. Not saying he's gonna get it done, but you're bringing in Jim Knowles. Not saying that he's a veteran DC, right? He kind of knows. I'm not saying he knows the offense in and out, but he knows what to expect, right? He goes against them in practice, and then on top of that, he got a veteran team going into the shoot. a veteran Penn State team, your 2 running backs, your senior quarterback or whatever he is, Drew Allo Jr. If he doesn't get it done, Shrock, this year, I think they will never beat you guys. Franklin, at least.
What I don't understand for the life of me is they always have a pretty good defense. They always got a good running game, but they cannot get any receivers there to save their lives. For some reason, I mean, it's been, 4 or 5 years since they had Hamlin and they had a decent couple of receivers. I mean, spend the money in the portal, go out and get a couple playmakers. I mean, it's mind-boggling. I mean, Drew Aller's not a scrub. I mean, I think the kid's got potential, but he just doesn't have anybody to throw the ball to, and Warren's gone now. The thing with, Knowles is a good defensive coordinator. I mean, he got us a natty, so I'll always be grateful for that. But he has not been recruiting for that defense. You know what I mean? That he wants to call, and they might not have the athletes to run it. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of defense is he going to go to, if he's going to change, because it took Ohio State, 3 years to get that defense down. I mean, honestly, the first year he gave up way too many plays. He was blitzing all the time. The second year, he's like, okay, I got the studs here, but I'm going to play conservative and not blitz anybody. And just, then last year was, he was playing conservative again until Ryan Day got on his butt and told him, hey, you need to get a pass rush again. And when they kind of married the two together of bringing some pressure and, playing some zone, they finally won. So it'll be interesting to see what they do, but I think we stick Franklin in a locker again.
This right here, bro. Penn State is like Michigan before they fired Don Brown. They have the power run game and defense, but need to ditch man-to-man versus OSU. Can somebody, we need a amen button or something, because if Don Brown would have played, we would have had to, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to wish harm on anyone, but Don Brown will pay for his war crimes against the University of Michigan.
Hey, I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Me and Mello were talking about this the other night. How many teams do you guys think the Big Ten gets into playoffs this year? Because this is looking like the best conference. It's going to be the best conference.
4 minimum.
4?
Yeah, 4 minimum. And it's funny, right? I think as much as I'm glad to finally see a conference not named the SEC, right? Finally, dominate the sport of college football. I think they're still going to be good. Right. But again, it's parity now. I don't think, again, there's going to be no dominant team. Like, there's going to be a lot of good teams. There's not going to be those Alabama, that LSU 2019 team, that Alabama 2020 team. I don't think we're going to see those kind of teams. We're going to see very good teams like we did last season. But yes, the Big Ten, by having Oregon now and USC, they starting to recruit their ass off. I guess they opened up checkbooks. Their recruiting class is looking sick. They did good in the portal. How good they're going to be, we don't know. But the Big Ten is going to start to be a gauntlet. I agree. And this is why depth is important. Because not only that, Shrock, right? Now it's an expanded playoff. So now if you make the playoffs, you either got to win 4 games or you got to win 3 games. And, bro, that's what? 16 games, 17 games. So, depth is important, but the Big Ten is looking scary. It's not going to be no walkthrough for anyone.
No, I was saying maybe 5. I mean, honestly.
All right, so name them. Let's see. Let's name them. Who you think real are we? So go ahead. I want to see your 5.
State, Oregon, Michigan, Penn State, and Illinois.
Ooh, Illinois in there.
So you think Indiana takes a step back far enough?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I'd say that. Hell yeah.
I still think they're going to be tough. I think Sagnetti's a great coach, but I think they take a step back because they lose a lot of guys and they haven't been recruiting the best. So, I mean, you can't bring
his style is very, very portal dependent.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the rest of the Big Ten for a second. Just for a second.
Yeah.
What do you think about the job that Fickle is doing in Wisconsin? Do you think, his reputation is taking a hit just a bit from going to Wisconsin? I know at Cincinnati, he got Cincinnati to the 4-team playoff, beating Notre Dame that year. They did lose to Alabama, but we'll say it was respectable. I think they lost by like 2 touchdowns or something like that. But what do you think about the job Luke Fickell is doing, or do you think that's a byproduct of Wisconsin, although they've had success in the past? What's your thoughts?
I think Luke's doing a solid job, but the problem is it's kind of like Penn State. They don't got any explosive playmakers. And I mean, they had a quarterback last year, but he got hurt in the first game and he was kind of, screwed. And I mean, he got another new offensive coordinator this year. So how long is that going to take to get that going? So, I mean, I think he's kind of in trouble because he's got a good defense. They're tough playing. I mean, they're tough, but that offense has been the problem for him, trying to find the right OC and get the right guys in there.
Yeah, good thing. And I don't really follow Wisconsin like that, but we know what Wisconsin's been. They an attitude team. They are an angry team. Like win or lose, you're gonna be in for a fist fight. And I thought by them getting Fickell, I said, oh, these guys are gonna start recruiting at an elite level. He's gonna bring in some elite talent, and it hasn't. That hasn't been the case for Wisconsin right now. So we'll see. But my question to the panel, everyone, who you think could be the Indiana in the Big Ten this season?
See, I'm going with Illinois, even though they didn't make the playoffs. I mean, they were really close. I think Illinois is a team, and I don't think it's that much of a surprise because we know they're bringing back almost everybody, and they had a heck of a season last year.
Kinetic, can you look up Illinois' schedule real quick?
Yeah, I does Illinois play both of us? We play Illinois.
No, we don't play Illinois.
All right.
They got us at home.
At Illinois.
Yeah, at Illinois.
Yeah.
Yep, go Champaign.
And that's why Shrock said, I respect that. He said, listen, that could be a possible L. And it is. And that's going to be their I'm not going to say their season, but that's going to be their Super Bowl, the regular season. Illinois could beat someone like Ohio State, man. That confidence.
I think
is going to
USC
be
has a chance to be that too, if I'm being honest.
So let's see. They have, who's that? Western Illinois. That's a win.
Week 1.
That's going to be a tough one.
Western Illinois. Second week, they're on the road at Duke, your team.
Well, those Duke teams, I know they're a basketball school, but but that should be a win nonetheless.
Yep. Then they're at home the next week against Western Michigan.
3-0.
On the road at Indiana.
Okay, that could be a little tricky.
Yep. Then they follow that with at home versus USC.
Ooh, that's gonna be again another interesting because we don't know what USC is gonna be yet.
But they do have them at home, so that's a big difference. Then they're on the road at Purdue.
Win. Everybody beats them.
Then they're at home versus Ohio State.
That's gonna be the game. That'll be the game to let us know how serious they are.
Yep.
True.
And then they're on the road at Washington.
That's going to be a tough. Yes.
Then they're back-to-back home versus Rutgers and Maryland.
All right, those should be wins. Then at Wisconsin and then home to Northwest. So it's a solid schedule. It's not a cupcake.
Easy.
It's games there that they could possibly win majority of them, or they could possibly lose 4 games that I saw there. Right off the bat. But I think the most important thing for a college team is always protect your house, right? If you want to go undefeated at home, at least. If you go undefeated at home, then you could probably slip up 1 or 2 on the road. That'll get you in the playoffs in college. 10-2 is definitely getting you in the playoffs.
Yeah, and Dom did point out, I didn't point it out when we were going over it, their bye week is right before the Washington game.
That'll help them.
Absolutely.
That's always a tough. Sorry, Mace, but that's always a tough place to play. Washington, and so is Wisconsin. I mean, they got both those guys on the road. I could see them maybe slipping up one of those games.
And that was the conversation I was having with somebody last night. We played Washington this year at home, and they were saying they thought that could be a losable game for us. I think they're underestimating the difference of playing in Washington versus playing that Washington coming here.
Mhm.
And playing in Washington is sneakily one of the hardest stadiums to play in. And that doesn't get talked about nearly as much as some of the other ones like LSU or Penn State. But Washington's right up there.
Well, plus the travel. I mean, that takes it. I mean, your body's all jacked up from, you're jet lagged. You're not used to the 3-hour time difference, is it 3 or 4 hour time difference up there?
Well, but it's not just that. They did the same thing that the Seattle Seahawks did, where with the construction of the stadium, it like amplifies the crowd sound.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I don't know the specifics of it, but you can look it up. They actually constructed the stadium to amplify the noise in the stadium.
Yeah,
the acoustics of the stadium. It affects games.
Let's go here real quick. Dev says thinking we won't win. Talking about the other state, 10 or more is insane. He's talking to somebody in the chat. I don't know. I'm not about to go investigate that.
Okay, let me ask Shrock this then. You said that worst case was 3 losses for Ohio State.
2 losses. He said
2 losses.
Oh, I thought he said 10-2 or 9-3.
No, he didn't say 9-3.
Okay.
Did I say 9-3? Oh,
No, you did it.
So I was saying 10-2 is, I think, it's the bottom.
11-1. You said 11.
So 10-2. Assuming that one of those 2 losses is Michigan, who's the most likely other one for you to lose to?
I think it's Illinois. Honestly, I think that's just a sneaky.
More so than any other team that y'all play.
I'm confident playing Penn State because I think they got their number, and James Franklin tends to that game. No, don't get me wrong. Washington might be tricky because I believe we got to go to Washington.
Yes.
So number 2 tough road games. I mean, no matter what the record is. I mean, we saw Michigan had problems up there playing Washington last year. I mean, that's no joke having to travel like that. Then, like you said, the way they built that stadium, how loud it gets. I mean, no joke.
I mean, look at Michigan's and OSU's record. Going in the regular season, going to the West Coast, it's not a good one. Both schools they don't pan well in the regular season traveling to the West Coast. So, that's gonna be a tricky game. I get it. On paper, you guys are gonna probably be double-digit favorites, but that doesn't guarantee wins. That travel, and it's gonna be a young team. This is why. As an OSU fan, you got to understand it's going to be a young team. You don't got the Jack Sawyer. You don't got the JT. You don't got the Simon. They'll be like, guys, we good. Not saying you don't got leadership on the team. You got someone like Caleb Downs. You got these other guys, Sonny Styles and them. But it's different when you got those Jack Sawyers, them JTs to get in these guys' face and say, listen, so it's going to be an interesting season. I mean, for both schools, even us. Don't get me wrong, because obviously when it comes to Bryce, we don't know. But regardless, he's going to be better than Davis Warren and Alex Orji. And if we won 7 games with those guys, then I have no doubt that 10 games minimum for Michigan should be won this season, as long as we don't suffer major injuries to major players.
Hold on. Let's not jump out the window just yet, because I do have to remind the chat. Me and Maniac both sat here in front of you a season before the season started last year and went through that schedule and had Michigan going undefeated. And now, granted, that's when we thought we had a quarterback. We were told lies. They lied to us blatantly about the quarterback situation. But even still, we did go through that. We parsed through. We convinced ourselves. We talked ourselves into, even the ones we were like, yo, we could lose this one. We talked ourselves into W's for that. But
that was bad.
We'll run it back this year too. But let's get into this real quick. Let's switch gears a little bit. Thoughts on the other state spring game or your spring game, Shrock? What were the positives you took out of it? What are the things you think you need to work on coming out of that spring game?
I was really positive about the running backs look good. I was pleasantly surprised with CJ Donaldson, because everybody made it sound like he was a big bruising back, but he cut 20 pounds, man, and he looks really explosive. I mean, he was in that hole. I mean, he was getting there. So I'm excited about that. The one thing that everything that's going to worry me is going to be that defensive line, because that defensive line is going to be different this year. It's built different. We're not built from the inside out like we were last year. We got two guys that are good pass rushers, and bringing, Bo Atkinson in from, North Carolina is going to be, we're going to have 3 good ends. They're going to get after the quarterback, but are they going to be able to stop the run like Jack and JT could? Are they going to be able to, set the edge? We don't know yet. Aiden McDonald's a big dude, and he needs to be in shape, because he was not getting as many snaps as he should have last year, because he wasn't in the best of shape. I got confidence in Mickey Marotti, cutting some weight off him and get him to play a lot, but I think him and Edric are going to be solid. It's just the people behind them. We need 1 or 2 defensive tackles to step up. If we get 1 or 2 injuries in that defensive line, it be worrisome.
No doubt.
And are you guys looking to get players in? I know you guys picked up a defensive end from North Carolina, correct?
Bo Atkinson, yeah.
Bo Atkinson, okay. So no. Depth is important, like I mentioned. It's a long season, and you guys look. I've said it. You're not gonna have a Michigan type season. You're not gonna go 7-5, right? I'm a realist. I get on OSU fans all the time. But we're talking sports. I think you guys are equipped, but I think 9-3 is realistic, right? Because look, Texas could be a loss, Illinois could be a loss, Penn State could be a loss, even though we know what y'all do to them. But eventually, like y'all beat us 8 in a row, eventually we was gonna win a game.
Yeah.
Can this be that year? We don't know. And again, I'm going based on what's coming back this season, right? Eventually, the pressure's going to be on, and these players on Penn State have to realize, bro, we got to get it done. But I don't know if they do. As of right now, that's going to be a win for Ohio State for me until I see it. But of course, the Michigan game, and of course, tricky, the Washington game. Even though I don't think that's going to happen, but we see crazy things happen in college football. It's the craziest sport of all of them, right? How many times we see a team, they're going to wax this team, and we like, the Macaulay Culkin. Oh, what happened? So,
guys, I'm 46 years old, man. I grew up in the 90s. I saw numerous times we should have been in the national championship game, and we lost to you guys. We lost to Michigan State. It happens. Vanderbilt. Look who Vanderbilt beat last year.
That was solid, though. That was a sneaky, solid Vanderbilt team, though.
Sure. Look at Oklahoma that last game against Alabama.
Wreck those guys, yeah.
Anybody can win on any given Saturday. That's true.
Yeah. And let me, all right, so we know you say you concerned about the D-line, man. But how's your secondary? I know you have Caleb Downs, which we know he's gonna be the #1 safety in college football returning. You got Iggy. Now we know Iggy, it's give or take. It's either pass interference or it's good defense, right? It's like either or. I'm eager to see how does he, adjust this season with that. I'm pretty sure they're working on him with that. I know y'all got that dude Matthews, and I heard y'all got a super talented freshman, Devin Sanchez.
Yep.
I've been hearing good things about him. They talking about that this guy could be one of the best to come out of Ohio State, and that says a lot because you guys do have a history of a lot of good cornerbacks, man. So talk to me about your secondary, Shrock.
What they're saying right now, which is kind of lofty to put on the kid, but the kid is a stud. They're calling him the J.J. Smith of the secondary. Devin Sanchez. Yeah. To put that on a kid like that, I'm just like, come on, guys. I know he's great, and I think
that
he
was
could
Caleb
start.
Downs.
Caleb Downs going to start at safety. I think he's the second best player on our team after JJ, no doubt about it. But I like our secondary. We got a 5-star kid, Aaron Scott, who got some valuable playing time last year. He's a bigger corner and he can lay the wood. And they also, I mean, Matthews is as a stud. He should have probably started. He probably would have started anywhere else last year if they didn't have those guys in front of him. Iggy is always, you never know what you're going to get with him, if he's going to be too handsy or he can shut the guy down. So
we can bet on that he's going to.
Yeah,
but so hold on. So let me ask. So you're saying there's a portion of the OSU fan base saying that Sanchez is going to be the Jeremiah Smith of the DBs, which that would imply, since Jeremiah Smith came in as a true freshman and was the best receiver on the roster, that some of your fan base is saying that Sanchez is a better defensive back right now than Caleb Downs.
See, they play two different positions, because Devin's a corner and Caleb is a safety. So I mean, that's two different positions, but that's what they're saying. Cornerback wise, he's the JJ Smith of corners as a freshman. I mean, that's what they're saying. He's that good. I mean, he's very talented. There's no doubt about it. And I think he probably does start. I think he's one of the 3 starting corners this year. I think it's him, Jermaine, and Iggy.
So who's starting next to Caleb Downs? Who's your other safety?
I'm gonna say probably Jalen McClain. He's a hard-hitting kid. Last year he got some playing time as a true freshman. He was a 3-star, and he jumped a couple 4-star guys that ended up transferring out. But I mean, they got either him or Malik Hartford, who's another. I mean, he's good, but he also was the kid that didn't turn his head in the end zone 2 years ago up in Ann Arbor when you caught the touchdown pass. So, I mean, he's good, but I think McClain's the one that's going to start next to Caleb Downs, if I had to bet.
All right. And did you get to see any of Michigan's spring game?
Nope. And I wanted to hear your guys' opinion on it. So I was interested to hear what you guys had to say about it.
You guys. But before I go, you guys are gonna have to hold it down for a second. Shout out to Blue Wolverine. Thanks for the $4.99 super chat. He says, hit that like button. Make sure y'all do that. Hit the like button. Share this with your friends and family on social media.
Absolutely.
All of that. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, Kinetic. Go ahead, man. I'll let you start. By the way, we were there live, Shrock. We were there live. Me, Kinetic, the
Shout
whole
out
Avenger
to Asian Posh Doreen for coming up from Ohio State. Her and her husband both coming up. He was decked out in his Ohio State gear.
Yeah.
And I'd like to proudly say that they were treated, as far as I know, with respect in the stadium by Michigan fans, even with him decked out in scarlet and gray, the whole 9. So shout out to them for coming up. So to talk about the spring games, we got to make sure that we add the context of Michigan's spring game and Ohio State spring game are 2 completely different things.
Sure.
Correct me if I mischaracterize Ohio State spring game, but they go ones on ones, 2s on 2s, and in a lot of ways it's a televised practice to hype up the fans for the coming season and to get a look at some of the young guys, right?
Yep. And I know sometimes they were mismatching people in there too. I mean, they were subbing some guys in there to get.
But for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part. Ones against ones.
A lot of people, what bugs me sometimes from both sides of the rivalry, they're 2 completely different things.
Yeah.
And for example, seeing some of the OSU guys going on X and, trashing Michigan spring game because they didn't have the same type of stats and stuff, it's dishonest in my opinion, because Michigan, what they do is they're not doing an exhibition. They're not doing ones on ones. They're doing almost like a street ball pickup football game where they pick 2 captains and they take turn picking players. So you got, for offensive line, for example, you've got 1s running with 2s, running with 3s, with units that they're not used to playing with. They don't have that chemistry. They're splitting up the receivers. They're splitting up everybody. It's literally picking teams like you did in middle school. You know what I'm saying? And they're going out there playing outside of quarterback contact. They're playing full contact, right? Because they do put something on the line. It's minor, but anybody that's been a football player, when they put it on the line that, hey, we're going to a team dinner afterwards and the winning team gets steak and lobster and the losing team gets hot dogs, those players are playing for that. Like, that's going to be a point of pride, because for the next year, they get to have those bragging rights. So the 2 games are completely different. Michigan's game is never going to be as pretty as Ohio State's, because we're not playing any of the units with their starting units, the units that they're lining up 9 out of 10 reps in practice with. So from what I saw in our spring game, you really have to look at individual performances and matchups. You can't really look at units. I think it was okay. I mean, the biggest concern I think is our left tackle, but I also think that that's also being blown out of proportion a little bit by some people. It's kind of a mixed review. Some of our young guys, like Andrew Babalola on the offensive line, he really was impressive. As far as the quarterbacks, Bryce, he looks different. He does not look. If you watch it on the replay on Big Ten Network, doesn't look like a 17-year-old high school kid. He's standing out there, looks like a junior starting quarterback in college. He's got zip on the ball. He's got a tight spiral. He's got the arm power. But his problem is what I've been trying to sort of prepare everyone for, especially if we have him start week 1. He's got to adapt to the speed of the game, the speed of the pass rush, the speed of the coverage. You could see right from the very first play of the game that he was shocked by the speed. And there were times in his progressions where he's going through his reads where it's like the speed of the coverage makes him panic and he'll throw it into double coverage. But that's all stuff that I think gets worked out. You can see that he's different. You know what I'm saying? You can see the way he commands the pocket, the way he has a presence about him and has an awareness of the pass rush, is able to scramble away from it, keep his eyes downfield. He's got the talent. One thing that I was really surprised by was I don't think that some people are poo-pooing on him. I was surprised by Jaden Davis in the fact that he's more mobile than people give him credit for. He was able to get away from pressure and show a lot of agility and movement that nobody was giving him the ability to do so. And I think that he is enough of a gamer that he's going to be able to adapt to compensate for the janky throwing motion like we've seen people do in the past. So I think that I'm confident having him as a backup quarterback.
Well, it's funny that you say how they do it, because Trustlow used to do the same thing with the spring game. They would have 2 captains and they would just draft people, like old school pickup football. So, I mean, it is hard to tell. I mean, I know some people were really dogging Bryce for that interception, but I did rewatch it and I saw that it wasn't his fault that his receiver cut the route off. So, I mean, and you're going to have that. Just, I'll warn you guys, we watched Braxton Miller as a 17, 18-year-old kid start as a freshman, and you're going to have those moments where you're wowed. But you got to remember, like you said, these kids are seeing coverages they've never seen before. The speed's a lot different. They're used to dominating everybody because they've always been the man. Now they're going up against guys that are 3 to 4 years older than them. Maybe some that are 5 if they're, 5th-year seniors. So he's going to make those amazing plays, but he's also going to do what a freshman will do and throw into double coverage or get fooled. But I know the kid's great. He's got the talent.
He just has to get used to reading the coverage at the speed of the college game, because as good as he is, the best defenses he's played against to this date had 1, maybe 2 college level players on it, not an entire defense of it. You know what I'm saying? He's got to get used to the speed. He's got to get the muscle memory. He's got to get the ability to adapt and react at that speed, and he'll get it. You even saw the progression. If you watch the whole game, you see the progression when it gets to about, 3, 4, 5 minutes into the second quarter. You see a little bit of a change in how he's making his reads and making decisions.
Sorry to cut you off, jump on you there. But Tavian St. Clair has the same issues because he didn't play against the best competition. He played at a lower level division school. So, I mean, he threw 2 picks, but then he bounced back and he looked great at for the rest of the day. And I mean, he bounced back, and I was proud of the kid, but we don't have to start him this year. He can, wait a year and develop, or he can even wait 2 years behind Sane. I mean, honestly. So, I mean, that's the difference between him and Bryce. I mean, you guys are going to have to stick him in the fire, and
let's do this. Shaun, you've 46 years old. You've seen a lot of Michigan, Ohio State games in your lifetime. Let's do this. Everybody participate in the chat too. Y'all can participate in this too. By the way, Tim, this isn't a call-in show. Shout out to my guy Thunder Redman. Be sure to check out his YouTube page. Thunder Redman. Tim's a legend. By the way, Tim, you missed it yesterday. I don't know if you were there, but Unapologetic was on Johnny's show looking for you. Shout out to Tim. But anyway, let's get to this. I want you to tell me your favorite win in the game that you witnessed, obviously.
Okay.
And then after that, we'll go to the worst loss. But let's start with you, Shaun. You are the guest. What's your favorite win in this rivalry to this point?
It was a 2002 win.
Okay.
That was my favorite win because so many times through my high school years, they were so close and they had their heart broken by Michigan. And the 2002 team will always be my favorite team. I mean, till the day I die, because they're the ones that broke through the ceiling. They beat Michigan, won the Big Ten, then went on and won the national championship for us. So that was my favorite win by far.
No doubt. Kinetic, what's your favorite win in this rivalry that you witnessed?
In the rivalry, I mean, for me, it's got to be the 2023 one.
Okay.
I mean, I just that was such a big game, and it was so close for so much of the game. I mean, it was really decided on that final drive.
Mm-hmm.
There were big plays made on both sides, and I just was on the edge of my seat the entire game. And for many years, in my opinion, at least the ones that I was able to watch, it wasn't that for a long time. It was either, one side or the other. It was, you could kind of see that it was over pretty, at the third quarter.
Yep.
So,
no doubt. All right, Maniac, favorite game in the rivalry.
It's tough, man. It's tough. But let me. You know what, Ron Embry, he's right. The reason it has to be the 97 game, because that was the first time I get to see my team win a national championship, right? And bro, I was nervous that game. And that was a tough OSU team. We had a hard time, but on top of that, I know. But it was it came full circle. Desmond Howard, Charles Woodson, the same side of the field, the same end zone, both of the games where they sealed the Heisman against your biggest rival. And then Michigan follows that up with against a tough Washington State team whose offense was just crazy. Had to go to the Rose Bowl and win. So yeah, man. I mean, it's tough, man. But yes, I have to go that 97 game, man, because it led us to the national championship.
No doubt. Just to be different, because I would have picked the 97 game myself. That was really like the first one that I consciously remember sitting down to watch and understand. But if I don't go with that one, then I'll go new school. I'll say 21. 21 was big, man. We had to get that one off our back.
That was big.
I do want to give an honorable mention to the 2006 game. It's 2006, right? Chad Henne, Troy Smith.
Yeah,
that was
that
was the number two game.
We lost that game.
We did, we did. But that game was fun.
For sure.
The number one versus number two winners going to the BCS national championship.
Right.
That game was nuts.
The only reason I didn't say that game, guys, is because they got their butts kicked by Florida.
Right.
I mean, so they had so much taken out of them from that game, man, because that was a war. If you watch that game, the way those guys were smacking each other and hitting each other, I mean, they took so much out of Ohio State. I mean, it was a heck of a game. That's probably one of the best.
Classic game.
No doubt.
Yeah, no doubt. But yeah, 21 for me, I think, because much like for you, Shrock, with 02, we had to exercise some demons. and the setting and all of that was beautiful. The snow, all of it coming down, and even though CJ Stroud completely ripped apart that pass defense, what he had like 400 yards.
Like 394.
Garrett Wilson was out there making nasty receptions. It was disgusting. But to get that win was big. And so I'll go with that one. All right. Everybody picked their favorite win. Now, what one ripped your heart out? Give me your worst loss. Shrock, again, we'll start with you. What's the worst loss?
I got two of them.
All right.
Actually, this year, but the one that really hurt me the most is when in 1996, when Shaun Springs fell, and that team should have won the national championship, and they could not put the ball in the end zone. They had to settle for field goals, and they left Michigan hang around too long. And Shaun Springs, the great All-American cornerback, he had one slip up and
tie streets to the house.
She got behind him and caught it, and that was heartbreaking.
Right.
I mean,
no doubt. What and you said you had another one. What's the other one?
This year, of course. I mean,
all right.
That was just bad.
Nah, I feel you, man. No doubt. Kinetic, worst loss for you.
I mean, so I mentioned the 2006 one, but I don't know. I had so much fun watching the game despite the loss. It's hard to say that one. So if I had to pick one, I'm probably going to agree with our guy John Diadamo in the chat and say the 2016 game.
2016 was rough, man. That was rough. Listen, go ahead, Maniac.
Yeah, so it's funny, man. Ron Embry, he's in my head, man.
Right.
That and the 06 and the 16 for two reasons, right? First of all, in that 06 season, Michigan's defense started, it had the potential to be one of the greatest defenses of all time. As the season went on, I don't know, man. They just didn't have the same fire. We went life and death with Ball State like a week or two before the OSU game. And then Troy Smith, Jim Tressel, they just put a hell of a game plan. They just spreaded us out, man. And they just killed us, man, with the passing game. And it was, that was like, nah, man, we need to go. Like, we would have went to the national championship. And I'm not saying we would have beaten Florida, but I think stylistically, Michigan matched up a little better, right? Regardless that Ohio State won against that Gator team. Not saying we was going to beat them, but I just think stylistic. Then the 2016, the reason why we were dominating that game. It was 17-7 late in the third quarter. That only 7 points came via pick six. So the OSU's offense, we had them in the mud. And then Wilton Spate, he throws an interception to Baker, and that's it. College football is a game of momentum, man. One play could turn it all around. And that was Jim Harbaugh's second year. He wins that game. He goes to the playoffs, most likely, and things get even better for Michigan. Recruiting, his second year, he's in the playoffs. So that game, to me, I'm not saying it set us back, but it kind of did in recruiting. And, we couldn't get no quarterback.
And really set us back, but.
Yeah. Oh, my God. John O'Corn, please don't remind me.
Hey, listen. I'm with y'all though, man. 06, between 06 and 16 is hard to choose. I'm gonna go with 16 though too, because man, was I living on it. I was, every play really, especially late in that game, right? Every play had you up out the seat or in the seat, cussing at the TV, cursing at, people who couldn't hear you hundreds of miles away, right? That said, man, that loss really hurt because, like you said, it was Michigan's. It was Harbaugh's second season. He was actually, this is back when Harbaugh was actually recruiting at an elite level, right? Number 5 class. He's also, climbing trees, spending the night at people's houses, that sort of thing too. But it was vintage Harbaugh at that point. And man, that loss really took something out of the sales. I think it took something out of Harbaugh too, if I'm being honest, for a while, right? But until 21, when he was able to get over the mountain, if you will. But 16 really hurt. Talk to us in the chat. What were your worst losses? I saw a lot of 16s, man, if I'm being honest. Yeah, 16
it's just tough, man. And it's funny, right? Because Urban Meyer as an OSU coach is undefeated against Michigan, but he did lose to them as a coach in Florida in the Capital One Bowl, which was Lloyd Carr's final game. These is when bowl games matter, where nobody sat out, everybody played. So, that was a hell of a game. That was Tim Tebow. The SEC, the speed of the SEC, the physicality of the SEC, they just too good. The slow Big Ten. And we put up like 40-something points on that team. And it's like, where was this Michigan team at all year?
Historically, Michigan does well against the SEC. Michigan has a winning record against the SEC.
Yeah, but it was, man. But, again, man, I love college football more than the NFL, man. I'm just honest. I love the NFL, but college football just has that stigma. Like, rivalries matter. Like NFL, these guys is like, whatever. I'm gonna go to my mansion, my 4 cars, my 8-car garage, man. These college players, not all of these guys are gonna go to the NFL, man. So they want to leave a legacy. We could say what we want about Davis Warren. Not that he did much, but he knows he's gonna tell his grandkids, I beat Ohio State as a quarterback. They're like, damn, Grandpa, you didn't do shit. You didn't do shit in that game, but he still won.
You in Kinetic to stop this.
No, he told him to go.
Next to his name versus OSU, it says 1-0, and it always will.
Hey, yo, listen, man. By the way, Maniac did bring up somebody that I gotta play this for. You brought up Wilton Spate, who will also pay for his war crimes against the Michigan Wolverines.
And I'm dead. I want his family dead. I want his house burnt to the ground. I want to go to the middle of the night. I want to piss on his head.
Yeah, man. Wilton Spate, I would say this.
Shout out to Wilton Spate. We wish him well.
I would say this. I would have loved to see Jake Rudock play his second year with Michigan. He just didn't have no eligibility. Yo, bro, not that he was elite. This guy can make all the throws, and he was sneaky athletic. By the end of the season, bro, he was cooking.
Hey, this guy, bro. Hey, we about to ban you, man.
Yo, Mike, leave it. Yo, that's my man. Yo, Northern Illinois. What happened with that?
This guy, bro.
Marshall.
Hey, guys, I got a question for you guys. What do you guys think your record's going to be this year? I'd like to hear what you think.
This is good. This is a good question. I think the floor is 9-3.
Okay.
Much like you, though, if we go week 2 to Oklahoma and Bryce, who I'm assuming is going to be the starting quarterback, looks like, does anything, that you wouldn't expect the true freshman to do in terms of looking good in that game. Not to say that you don't expect the true freshman to look good in any game, but that would be, like you said, for saying he's on the road, big lights, it's a big game. That stadium is going to be loud and against him. And if he can perform well in that game, then I don't think 12-0 isn't impossible. I think it's unlikely, but it's not impossible. So I think the floor is 9-3. Ceiling is 12-0.
Yeah. Kinetic?
So for me, because I've talked about this a lot here recently, I feel like I define this a little bit differently than most people. So for me, ceiling has to be how many games on our schedule are possible for us to win. And when I look at our schedule, I don't see any game that is unwinnable if everything goes right. So I'm going to say our ceiling is 12. I think there's 5 losable games, So if the ceiling is how many games are winnable, the floor has to be how many games are losable. I think there's 5 games that are potential losses. I don't think we're going to lose all 5, but I would have to say the floor would be 5 losses. If I had to say what I think is going to happen, I'm going to say 10-2.
This is a ridiculous statement. Hold on, we got to address this statement.
Richie, here we go, Richie.
You weren't playing the elite SEC teams when the SEC started to take off, bro.
We did. Alabama cooked us.
Alabama had a losing record against the SEC, and now you got me. Now you got my fandom coming out here. Had a losing record against the SEC at that same time when we, as you put it, weren't playing the elite schools out of the SEC, but when they started to take off. So what's the excuse for you? But anyway, I digress. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll say, in Connecticut, you make a good point, but I think, look, man, I think the ceiling for Michigan, I'll say 11-1. They're not going undefeated. I'm a realist. I know some of my fellow Michigan fans don't want to hear that. Yes, they all winnable, but
that's my point.
Got to take it.
Maniac, if the ceiling is 11-1, you're saying that there's a game on the schedule that is not winnable. Which game is not possibly winnable by us?
There's a lot of them because we don't know, right? And it's just not likely that you're gonna get a true freshman starting quarterback that's just gonna go 12-0, man. Like we got to be real.
No, I get that.
Yeah, so look, there's many games Michigan could lose on. I think the only home game
on the schedule that you think we cannot win.
That we cannot. No, I think we can win them all. Yes.
Then by definition, wouldn't the ceiling be 12?
Yeah, but that's listen, we know that, but I'm being realistic. Like everybody look, Penn State 12-0, Ohio State 12-0, Michigan. But I give more realistic take. I don't care. Like we're gonna say ceiling, and you're gonna go by the definition, the hard point definition. I'm telling, look, we gotta go to Oklahoma.
I think 10-2 is the most likely.
Yeah,
but
I think the floor has to. The floor could be 8-4 for this team. I could see 4 losses that we want to break our TV. Like how the bleep we lost these games. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think Michigan at worst 10-2. At worst 9-3. But I see more. I'm going 10-2. I think at Oklahoma, as of right now, and you guys, I've been saying this. As of right now, to me, that's a loss. But it's a winnable game at the same time. I'm not saying we can't win that game. I'm just saying that for Bryce to go into that environment, it's going to be a night game. It's going to be a sellout. And then their coach is a defensive genius, right? So he's going to throw shit at Bryce he's never seen. Still not saying Michigan can't win that game. We might have to do a Penn State in 23, run that shit 30 straight times, right? That all depends on the O-line. That's week 2. How well they going to gel, early in the season. We don't know. Those are the question marks, and those are realistic questions. Now, if we got 100%. Everything hitting on all cylinders, I don't think so, but we'll see. I think, look, we could lose at USC. We could lose at Nebraska. We could lose at home to Ohio State and Oklahoma. I think those are the 4 games that Michigan really needs to say, yo, be careful here. And you can always slip up, bro. This is college football. I don't care how good you are. I don't care how many 5 stars. If you don't come to play every week, it can happen to you.
Right. So again, just to clarify, what I'm not saying I think we're going to go undefeated. I'm saying that when I look at each game on our schedule individually, I don't see any game on there that I look at and say, well, there's no way we can win that game. So if I believe that we have a chance to win every game on the schedule, a realistic chance, then I can't say that the ceiling is lower than 12-0. On the flip side, I look at the games and I say, which ones do I see here that I think are losable? I look at Oklahoma on the road week 2, Nebraska on the road week 4, USC on the road in California. And then I think those are losable. And then just me personally, I think that with Ohio State and Michigan State every single year, I don't care what the record is. I don't care what the talent on the paper says. those 2 rivalry games, all that goes out the window and anything can happen. So I think there's 5 games that we could potentially lose. So if I'm saying there's 5 games we could potentially lose, then by definition, I have to say my floor is 5 losses. Now, that is different from me saying what I think is going to happen. I don't think we're going to lose 5 games. I don't think we're going to win 12 games. I think the most likely scenario is that we stumble in 2 games and lose 2 games because of freshman inexperience, because of stuff just not happening and falling in our way, whatever. An injury happens, whatever. I think the most likely thing is 10-2. But that's why I wanted to clarify the definition of ceiling, floor, and what we're actually predicting.
Thank you,
I hear that,
Professor Kinetic.
Yeah.
We understood what you were saying before you went into the soliloquy, but I for anybody in the chat who didn't understand it, you better understand it now because we're not running it back. Shout out to Dom. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Shrock, thank you for joining the show. Class OSU fan. A class OSU fan, he calls you. Shout out to that. Wish you good luck, but I wouldn't be being honest.
And Shrock, it's like, and it's only like 4 of y'all this class, so good luck. You in the elite. You in the elite category.
Because
I think that's the first time I've ever heard that.
Dom doesn't give out those compliments to OSU fans. But anyway, man, we got to wrap it up. Look, we appreciate you coming on, Shrock. We didn't get through everything we wanted to get through today, but there will be another time. Hilo Keish, thank you for the $5 super chat. Great live, fellas. We appreciate you, sir. We will later in the week do a call-in show. I'm thinking Wednesday. Let John and those guys have their Thursday. But either way, we will do a call-in show, so feel free to come up. My dude Dub Q was in the building today. I didn't even see him. I've been here the whole time. I'm driving. Shout out to Dub Q, who is driving. Anyway, Shaun, tell the people where they can find you, what you got going on, all of that.
Actually, tomorrow we are kicking off our brand new show. Me and TG on the Ohio podcast at 8 o'clock. We will have the Buckeye Lounge, and we will also be having a former Ohio State national champion great Tim Anderson, who's going to join us for the show, but he's also going to help us during the year. So he doesn't know how much he can commit to being there as much as he wants, but he's going to be part of our team. So we'll have him in and out. So
no doubt, man. Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. Shaun Shrock, Ohio podcast. He and
Appreciate
TG.
you.
Shrock, by the way, send TG my regards, man. She's gonna cook her, she said. She told me, Josh, she said, I'm gonna cook her. I'm gonna that one. I want his family dead. That's TG to us right now. Listen, but tell her, and look, with all due respect, just let her know it's nothing personal. We just kicked her out because it got disrespectful, but we don't hate her. She's always welcome back, to get in the Lions Den. It's cool. It's all love because at the end of the day, it's about just talking sports, man. There's never nothing personal.
Hey, man, like I say, if you guys want to cook me on any of the takes I say, go ahead. You want to talk crap about my team, go ahead. But when you start taking personal shots, that's
I agree. I agree. 1,000%.
I appreciate you guys having me, man.
Till next time.
Thank you, Shrock.
Shaun Shrock, ladies and gentlemen. Catch him on the Ohio podcast, Golf Claps. And with his co-host, TG. Shout out to TG. And what do you say the show was gonna be called?
Damn. Oh man, if you hadn't asked me that, I
stop smoking weed. No, I'm joking. Short-term memory is gone. But
I see on his page, it's the Ohio podcast. So
well, no, the Ohio podcast is where that show, but he named their little show, their little
okay, here it is, the Buckeye Lounge.
The Buckeye Lounge. There we go. Thank you. But yeah, so be sure to check that out. Thunder Redmond was in the chat. I might start a call-in show right now.
Okay.
Shout out to Tim.
Tim,
Go over there.
They want to get in his bag. He want to get in his bag.
He want to roast Maze Madman for not making this a call-in show.
I know, bro. He was like, yo, let me know when the link is in there. Nobody's checking for you in those Victoria's Secret uniforms your team wears for real. No disrespect. Respectfully. I'm pretty sure that's for a Dallas fan.
Yeah.
Because he came in here wanting problems. This wasn't even a show for y'all, man. We don't need to talk about.
As a matter of fact, no. Maze, why don't we get Dallas fan on the show so he could speak about the 70 points that his defense gave up?
We will have every user tune out because all he's going to do is come on here and troll and get no conversation.
Dallas fan on the show a couple times.
Viewership goes when he's on here.
Well, actually, viewership is pretty good, but it's because the chat is going crazy. That said, if and when Notre Dame plays a meaningful football game, hopefully against Michigan at some point, we'll do that. Anyway, guys, what y'all got going on? Where can the people find you?
You can find me in my OnlyFans at Puerto Rico 189. Now you see it right there. Go blue.
Stay away from them OnlyFans, man. Y'all see what's happening with Shannon. Stay away.
Yeah. I leave it alone, man. I don't want no smoke. You see it there. Go blue _maniac _24 on Instagram. That'll lead you to everything else that I have, man. Show the kid love, man. And I'm wait till the season start. That content is gonna be caliente.
Kinetic, where can the people find you? What you got going on, man?
Aside from here, Kinetic 615 every platform, YouTube Kinetic 615. I also got the gaming channel Kinetic 615 Plays. Check out the GoFundMe in the link or in my bio. But yeah, just here on Maze Madman channel. I will say I was supposed to do the Purple Daily Vikings podcast last week, but because of the draft, they moved it to this week. So I will be on that this weekend. It'll be airing on Purple Daily on Sunday. And then if I could just take a quick moment to ask our viewers, at the spring game, Maniac and I got to meet Trente Jones. Very cool guy, really down to earth, sat there and talked with us for a while. He just recently started his own YouTube channel and podcast. So if we could get people to go over and show him some love from the Maze Madman channel, comment, show him some support, like it, subscribe. He's a great player, great dude. Go show him some support, guys.
Hey man, we're doing a lot of free commercials out here. No doubt though. Go check out Trente's show for sure. Be sure to follow me everywhere at Maze Madman. That's at the Cookout. Wherever you buy lottery tickets, all of that. Maze Madman. Till next time though. Stay angry, my friends.